we have few more participants joining. So till the time they join, could you just briefly share the little bit about your age of the children? How old are they, and what made you to join this webinar?
Hi, this is Nihala.
Yes.
My
Hello,
son
Nihala.
is 14 years old and my daughter is 10 years old.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for
Yes.
joining.
Yeah, the only reason I wanted to join this parenting is I'm more interested in the sibling rivalry. Because as parents, we obviously do not have any differentiating. We are not differentiating between our kids. But I don't know, somewhere they do not gel with each other as much as we used to gel with our siblings. So that is my interest.
Yes, although that is not part of this particular webinar, but yes, we'll connect and discuss that. You'll have definitely some ideas in the context of the topic that I have chosen.
Yeah, so I want to know if as parents we are lagging somewhere, that this is coming up, or it is just a different issue.
See, sibling rivalry is nothing new. It is something is very common. It's up to us as parents. How do we really handle it? And even in that conflict, what do we teach them? What do we make them learn?
Right.
Because when they grow up, the conflicts are going to be part of their life. So the way you make them understand right now to respect each other perspective, to understand, and the way you align the individual differences, that is what is a key role you as a parent going to play,
Right.
because nobody is going to have 100% agreement with either you or even your children when they grow up. So it's a skill. Sibling rivalry is the situation where children learn a lot about conflict resolution, leadership, team building, all the like jargons which are used in corporate world, but they start actually from the family. That how do they learn to handle it? So it becomes easier for them.
Right.
Right. Great. Thanks for asking that, Nihala. So we'll already, I think, well set to start. We have few members already joined in. Great. So I'll just put you on mute. Okay. Good. So as you see on the screen, the title of the webinar today is Discover Leadership in Parenting. And why I have put a dot between each letter, because in the webinar we are going to discover each letter, how and what does it mean in the context of parenting, and what is it that we need to exhibit so that it really conveys certain insights to you as a parent, and what are the certain action items for you. So if you have a pen and paper, you can make a note, and this entire webinar is going to give you good insights about what are some of the traits that I'm currently holding it, what are the certain areas that I need to work upon, or what are the something new things that is getting highlighted in this word leadership. So with that, we begin our today's session. Myself, Rekha. Few of you know me. I've been into parenting coaching and human values education more than 5 years now. And prior to that, I was a corporate woman working into learning and development almost more than 2 decades. Handling training and development for almost multinational companies in the healthcare industry. I'm also a mother of 2 growing children. My son is 14-year-old and my daughter who is 10 years old. And I founded my own academy in just a year back so that I can serve. There is a mission behind serving this, why I took up as parenting, because what is my passion is, yes, people development, and now it is more focused is parents development. So that's how I got into this particular subject, which I'm really passionate about. So with that, let me move forward to the agenda of our webinar today. We are going to cover who is leader and what is leadership, what is the role of parents in nurturing leadership, and how can parents exhibit leadership. So as you see, each of you, whoever is here on this webinar, and the other parent also who is not present in this webinar, can really make the difference, because the real leadership starts at home. That how do we really make them learn, understand, and aligned to all those behavioral characteristics which are must for every individual. Some of them have those characteristics naturally. Some of them we need to kind of train them, make them understand, and acquire them with a lot of practice, a lot of patience, and a lot of activities. So we're going to cover some of them during our session today. With that, let me just define who is a leader and what is leadership. So, as defined by Oxford Dictionary, leadership is a person. A leader is a person who leads, commands any group. It could be small or a big. It could be organization or a country. Like each, we all know that to broad the vision, whatever the certain goals and activities are there, it has to be led by someone, so that the entire members would know exactly where we are going. So similarly, each parent, according to me, is also a leader in their family for their child. It is both, not just the mother or father, but because each has their own characteristics, their innate potential, there a lot of because each child inherited genetically many characteristics, as we are all aware, and also they learn through their demeanor, through their lot of activities. So that is why I call each parent also as a leader. Now, what is leadership? So leadership is the action of leading a group of people so that they are able to achieve certain goals or uh, organization objectives, if we talk it in the corporate terms. But if we talk it in the terms of family, I call even a family as an organization, a very minute unit where parenting itself is a leadership, because how you nurture it through day-to-day activities, through your thoughts, through your words, and through your actions, it defines a lot. And many times we can't teach and tell them everything to do. It is more of the observation that the child is going to do, from the way they are going to uh, understand it. And it is only through, and most of the parents, I believe, who are here present, they know that they follow all the children. They are doing actually mirroring. Whole day they are doing mirroring. And what is mirroring is what you say probably may not really get executed immediately, but what you do, yes, it will get executed. Not sooner but later, definitely, because it goes straight into their mind, that yes, they have seen the people around doing them. So all the people, and if you look at your own journey, I'm sure you have a lot of role models, lot of people, example, who influenced you besides your parents. Okay, so those could be your teachers, could be your friends, could be any other senior family members. So one has to be quite observant that which are those people who are really influencing this characteristics in terms of leadership to a child. And if they are adopting certain good, then it's well and good that yes, they are channelizing all the energy in the right direction. But if not, then it's time for you as a parent to take that position as a leader, intervene and see where that you need to really work it out and make it happen for the well-being of present actions as well as future. With that, so as you say, and here let me be very clear, it's both, not just mother or not just the father, because each are equally important when they are we are raising a child for the holistic development of the child. Now let's understand what is the role of parents in nurturing. Okay, it is you have to kind of reflect now, right now, that whatever is a very beautiful quote that I want to share here, written by Dolly Parton. She said that if your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, to learn more, to do more, and to become more, then you are an excellent leader. And this is, I believe, it really got uh, me inspired a lot, that yes, what are those actions that we should be doing it as a parent, so that we can make our children dream more, so that they can learn from more, so they do more. And all this, if you try to put it in practice, then there's a lot message that this entire quote is given. And it is also very pictorially beautifully presented by the another author, that children learn more from what you are than what you teach. So whatever change that you want to see, we have to become that first, and this is the primary fundamental one understanding that I want each of you who's present here, so that you know that this is what something I'm looking forward. And I believe all of you here have seen the Lion King movie. It's very beautifully presented, the entire movie. If you have not seen, please see along with the child, that the child, the baby lion, has really picked up some of those characteristics with the way the lion has shown those entire abilities. So I want each of you to really understand this concept, that whatever that we want them to learn, probably we are not having those characteristics. Then it's time for us to probably adopt to that, acquire that, and then make that happen. Because one of the characteristics of leadership is also not just instructing, it is also inspiring. That how is that we are inspiring, and that makes real difference. We have to bring the shift, the way, the actions that we want people to take. So with that, let me move and ask a question. I want each of you to type in your chat box. As a parent, what are you currently? Are you an inspiring leader or the follower? When I say follower, means I take the picture clearly. Do you really have that unique identity for you as a parent and for your child, or you believe in, okay, let all other parents are doing, so I'm also doing that because that is a trend. So what we call in the psychology is called the herd mentality. So what is it that are you following? Just type in the chat box. What do you call yourself? You do you if there is some change required for the really development for your child, so do you stand out differently and do it for your child, or no, because not all other are not doing, so I don't know whether that's right for me or wrong. You have to really ask for yourself. Yeah, Payal has raised the question. Any input? So just type what do you call yourself as a parent, so that I can understand. Is it yes? I see it's a leader. I want everyone to type. How do you see yourself currently? Whether you believe in becoming an individual who's inspiring leader as a parent, or do you believe in just because all the other people are doing, so I'll also do? A simple example, like there's a trend in family, most of these, because when I do a lot of career counseling in our family, most of the children have taken medicine, or most of them have become engineers. So I want also because that is a pattern of our family. So if is that something, is your the way you look at, or do you think, no, my child has got a talent in some other area and I want to really make that happen? So it begins from there, that how do you really you look at, is it inspiring or is it follow? If not, take a note of this question and ask yourself, reflect on it, so that we know that somewhere I want, if you are attending this webinar, then I want you to see as this red position where you are inspiring and you are not just following because all other parents are doing, and that also I want to do for them. So it's a question for reflection. Make a note of it so that you can understand it better. Okay, moving forward, we are going to now understand in detail what exactly the leadership mean, and this is my own understanding. This is what I have discovered based on my experience, and the letter that I'm going to break it for each letter. There are certain behaviors that I'm going to share. It may differ for each of you, might have your own version of understanding that no for me, and that's perfectly all right, because what I'm sharing here is my own notes, my own way to look at as how parent can exhibit leadership, and there could be different abbreviation. So let me share what I mean by. So for example, if I look at L, what does the L stands for and how you can really exhibit L from leadership? One is love your child, because it is very important that whoever he or she is, and loving doesn't mean pampering or over caring or indulging. Okay, there is a difference. So love means love here is accepting whoever and whatever your child is, and you also have to love your role as a parent and your work that you are doing as a profession, because the way you respond in your, for example, in last 3 months, almost more than 3 months, you all are together since the lockdown is there. So whatever age group of your child is, but they are observing you, that what is that you are doing, how you are looking at your profession, and they are also learning many minute characteristics along with you. And whether you are really loving your job, whether you are really loving your role, what you are doing, every role, not just as a parent, but they are now in and out observing you. Okay, so you have to be very careful. What do you love and how do you really exhibit? And this is getting noticed, and this somewhere it will get replicated, because as I said beginning of my webinar, that children do what they see, not what you want them to do. Okay. The second is very important, is learning. What is the word learning means to you? Are you a person who really love learning new skills, exploring new things continuously, or is it something, no, I've done enough and now it is not for me to learn any new thing? Then somewhere, so leaders are those who are not just happy with what they have achieved. Their goal in life is they keep on learning, they keep on understanding, they keep on exploring new things. So another one way understanding of L is listening. It's very important. Leaders, be it in a family context or if you are working in a organization, then you all must have heard this word called active listening. Listening means it is not just listening the words, but you have to also listen what is the intention behind saying those words, and you have to also look at the feelings. I talk about this in much detail when we do our communication workshop, but then here just one note that I want to have, that when you are listening, listen between beyond the words. Okay, listen between the two lines. These are very important as a parent for you. And always, whenever you are having a listening activity, then do not get into the instruction or probably an interruption mode in between, because then you might not able to hear fully what the child is saying. Okay, so here, just to put it again, the perspective, become that leader, what you really want, you are put in, and that distinguish you as a parent from the other parent, because your child is also going to absorb that as a future, and how is it that they're going to learn it. Again, creating their own identity as what they have seen you as a leader. Okay. Another mantra, as I said, learning never exhausts the mind. Okay, this is a very beautiful quote given by Leonardo. So apply that. If you think you have learned enough, then just relook at whether is it. Then somewhere you are giving a message which may not be fitting into the definition of leader, because leader never stop learning, they always continue learning. Okay, and another is how do you really look at the life. Okay, we are especially now in today's COVID-19 situation, we all have faced so many challenges, so many things which are not as per the routine happening. And it's not simple, right? It's difficult to adopt the changes, and like us, even for children it is very challenging to adopt and to understand and take this. They're not allowed to go out, they're not allowed to play, they're allowed to meet their friends, and lot of activities are there, but still, how do you present yourself that yes, life is beautiful, life is good, let's discover it more, let's enjoy it more. So because those are some of the hidden characteristics of a leader that they have really portrayed. So, and all these learnings, if you start from now, then I think once they are grown up and once they are in their beautiful professional life, whatever, whether it's any entrepreneurship journey or in a profession, these all traits are going to play a wonderful and kind of difference that they're going to create is going. You will not see that, oh, this is really amazing. People are going to, and sooner the better. This is what the message that L I would like to give to all the parents. Let me move to the next letter, E. What does E stands for? Me. It is how empathetic you are, because this is one of the key element of being an emotionally intelligent. Okay. We do a lot of activities in this area and work with parents extensively, almost 2 to 3 days workshop, where we help them to understand that you have to really get to the bottom of what the child feels, thinks, and how, and that is something is kind of not just sympathetic. Now there is a difference, let me show it to you. When you say empathy, means you really feel what is that is going through. Okay, whereas here somebody is just, okay, I know this, there is this pain, but what can I do? Okay, so that is kind of just superficially trying to help, and whereas here you are really getting to the bottom of the problem and trying to understand. Let me, for example, parents who have a small children here present, it's always good to go and kind of give a special time to them in a day, so that you know that there is certain things which is not liking by them, which they are not happy with, and it's okay. I mean, that they may not like everything what you do, because you know what is good and that is what you are doing for their child, and they don't have that much of understanding at their level, so that they may not appreciate it. It's perfectly all right. But as a parent, how do you really show them and accept their unsatisfied behavior and work with them so that they really appreciate that, okay, what you are doing is good for them, not just to make them unhappy. Another example, when there are many children who get hurt, or the way they get themselves while playing or any activity. So when an empathetic parent is a one who do not kind of give immediately, what made you to play like this, can't you understand this, and then like lots of lecturing start immediately. But what is required at that moment is just a soothing touch, a kind of care, the activity which is going to make the child feel relaxed. And then later on, once the child is kind of bandaged and ready to listen, because remember, when the child is in a pain, the child is not ready to listen any knowledge, whatever good gyan that you want to give, but probably child may not receive it. So what is it that you want to really convey? You have to see the situation, because this entire the way we communicate with children makes a lot of difference, that how is it, and the end result is whether you were able to convey the message or not. Okay, the next part is A. What is A? A is very important here, is how do you really help the child to build the acumen. Acumen is nothing but what are the certain strong areas that you are going to help the child so that you can make age appropriate differences, and this you make the child learn about everything, the people around, the different places around, the various projects, the experiences, because that is what is going to build the acumen for the child. Another is attitude. What kind of attitude that you demonstrate in front of your children? As I already covered, that being positive, especially during the crisis situation, is going to build a lot of emotional intelligence in them, and that's going to help them. Okay. So I've just taken some of the examples here that when you observe your child closely, you will understand what are those some of the acumen that strong area that my child is in, and how can I really help him or her to develop these different abilities, because today is an era where there is every vocation could be the area can become a profession. Okay, it's what is required is, as a parent, how do you really make them understand, aware about their passion, so that they can exhibit it at the right time and at the right avenues. Okay. One more important is very required for each parent to teach children is be grateful. Okay, I recommend each and every parent that every night, if you can, tell your children to just be acknowledged. Okay, that whatever they have received during the day, and if you just pray and say be grateful, then I think this is one of the powerful exercise that you are and habit that you are passing on to your child, so that they know that when you are grateful, then you receive more. Okay, and this is there is a science behind it. We may not get into the details right now, but it's just the activity that you can introduce. If you're already doing well and good, if not, then it will be good to introduce, and it can be done for any age group. Even for the 2 years old child, this activity can be introduced, whatever they understand in their whatever language they speak. But it's always good to have that teach them, because whatever you are there today, there are many things that we don't pay money, like for example air, sun, water, many things, but still there are many children who are not aware that why should I be thankful, because somewhere we have missed teaching them that because of this entire nature and universe only, that our existence is there, our entity is there. So it is good to be grateful, and if they can have as many things in their journal, I think when they reflect back, it will be really good to read them along with them as a bonding act. Let's come to D. Okay, the T is basically a lot talks about discipline. Okay, as a parent, we should be knowing it, how much time uh, we have to allow child to do what activities, and there is a concept called limits. Okay, which is one of the principles which I teach during my parenting principles class, where and especially if this is not introduced in the foundation years, then it really becomes challenging when they are grown up, because they have not learned this concept of limits and consequences. So once you know that, then it becomes very easy to help them. The another is the discrimination. As a parent, one needs to really talk about what are certain extents which are allowed and not allowed. Okay, we have to teach them, and that happens in day-to-day activities. You don't have to go out and take any class for that. Okay, your actions, what the way you deal with your day-to-day vendors, the way you deal with your family members, the way you deal with their any acquaintances, because this way or whenever you are having a watch any family time, you're watching certain television serials or any incidents that come across, help them to understand that what each age appropriately you give them the inputs, and allow them to think, because that is going to help them to learn a lot from that situation, and if they face certain situation, then they are able to make the right decisions. Okay, some of the good discipline practices that I have just shown here, that if you have small children, then bedtime story is one of the beautiful way that you can pass on many values and many good behavioral activities through which children directly take them. Okay, what are some of the house chores that you want your child to do? Introduce as early as possible. Okay, many things. Where all activities that you can, like as an elder, if you are a part of family corporate, then we all have to-do list, right? So like that, we can also introduce the same thing to our children also, that how is it that we can help them to learn all these basic things starting from themselves, so they know that whenever we have a clear agenda, then our mind is clear, we know that we have so much time and we know that we have to complete so many tasks. Okay, a very important discipline that parents is to introduce is about, yes, and especially during this now COVID situation where immunity plays an important role, and I believe each parent is must be doing their role, and if not, then introduces as early as possible so that they know that this is something is important part of their day-to-day activities. Moving forward to E, what does E means? As per the leadership in the acronym that we are trying to understand, that let us be energetic and excited. Now we may not have the situations like that, okay, every day, that something, yes, there are some unpleasant situations, unpleasant incidences, but then how do we react to it or how do we respond to it? It matters a lot, because that's what is going to teach them. So your enthusiasm, how much soon you give up whenever faced with challenges, because that is where the emotional intelligence that you are teaching it to child. Now the researchers also prove that it is not the intelligent portion which is going to help the child to be succeed as a leader, but it is the emotional intelligence which is going to help them to lead and to survive in the life when there are situations which are not as expected, and we never know because what is stored for our children in future. So let them, make them ready with this kind of attitude to learn. Okay, so enthusiasm, whatever the, so your enthusiasm is going to replicate and create lot of differences in the way the child is really picking up those situations, because they are observing you all the time. They are seeing you that although there was a difficult situations, but how you managed, okay, how you found out the solution, how you managed to send make things workable. And that is what leaders do, right? What do leaders do exactly in the corporate world or even in the any other part of the life, that they have to find the solutions irrespective of, and the solution can only found with the, when the mind is calm and happy and energetic. Okay, so teach them how do we can really get that excited every day about whatsoever the situation may be. Okay, be a play yes, you may be wondering, our children are grown up, how can we be playful? No, we are, our body is getting old, okay, our mind and soul is not getting old. So it is up to you that how you make this life as enjoyable, as fun filled and as exciting, so that you know that this is what is something is important to manage those unpleasant situations in life. Great. So moving to the next letter, R. It's very important responsibility, and again connected with our previous letter, that it is how do you really teach certain age appropriate tasks, because unless we give certain responsibility, they are not going to understand what does the R means of responsibility. Okay, and how do you make them understand? So if you are a parent, you are a professional, or you are a part of any social organization, any voluntary work, work that you are doing, so there is a certain element called that is a responsibility. Means if you are assigned to do 1, 2, 3, 4 tasks, then you have to complete within certain period of time. And when you discuss your day-to-day activities with your child, okay, there are some parents who tell you, oh, what my child will learn from discussing these professional things with. No, in fact, they are going to learn a lot. That you have, you may not get into a lot of nitty-gritty, but at least you can highlight some of the challenging situations, some of the situations how you overcame, okay, because that was part of your responsibility and you were to do that. And when you do this, children are learning the real time meaning of, okay, so that means how you behaved as a responsible employee, how you behaved as a responsible entrepreneur, because that is what going to bring them a lot of insights. Another is the righteousness. It is one of the very important element, that how do we teach our children to do everything in a fair way, to do the work, because this is what is going to bring them success and glorious. It may have its own time, but one of the important values which I would each and every parent to focus on, that how is it that they can be right in their action. Okay, so let them be responsible, whatever age they are. Make every day sit with them, what are the certain things that they need to do, so that they know that I am responsible for this activities and I have to ensure, and if I need any help, I have to go to XYZ person. Okay, and that is how they're going to learn this word, big word called responsibility. Okay, make yourself and ask yourself how many times you give excuses for not happening certain things, because the same thing will also happen, and it is something which you don't have to teach, it is get picked up by default. Okay, so if there are 10 things and if only 5 you were able to do, and then if you give 5 excuses, this was some of not in control, then just reflect, because then we are passing on one of the important and not so required characteristics to our children, that giving excuses is not what leaders look for. Okay, the leaders always have to find ways. Okay, and it might take time, yes, they might have to change the plan, but then ultimate is that we have to achieve, we have to continue finding ways, and then without giving any excuses. So this is one of the important point that I want each parent to reflect upon, and see, is this pattern in me or not, or is this something that I want to really make it happen, whatsoever the challenges. The last, but not the least, very important, ship. Okay, what does this mean? Ship is your role as a parent is to show him or her, your child, the inner potential. Okay, now what is this inner potential? Is everybody, and I gave you many examples, like the in each one of has that intelligence. Okay, there are different types of 8 intelligences. If you go from the Harvard Gardner's principle, they define each intelligence, and each child is a combination of out of this 8, at least 2 or 3 intelligences, so that they know that what is the talent, and you have to tell them that your child is king or queen of, and how you're going to nurture that life shift. Okay, so help them to understand, know themselves, because once they do what they love doing it, then it's going to make the child's life happy. And this is what I think a role we as a parent play, something crucial. Okay, besides having there are many academics and professionals whom I know who have got a lot of high degrees and a lot of good activities, but then still when they reach their they come across a word, something called as a mid-career crisis. Okay, that they are not happy with what they are doing. And why? Because somewhere they have not really understood that what is that really talent, what is the skill, and what is that intelligence that is helping me to, so which I can do 24/7, for which I do not get tired, and something that is helping not only me as an individual, but that is allowing me to serve the society also in a larger way. Okay, so give those kind of inputs and knowledge which where your child can pick up, look at the problems which are there in the you can start with the family, and then as they grow, then they can pick up, look at it's a bigger, look at the society, then look at the state, look at the nation. So like that, what are those 1 or 2 problems that I am capable of solving? Okay, because that gives a very big horizon to children, and each one is capable. Okay, and when they understand this, then they are not just thinking about themselves, but thinking bigger than that in their life. Okay, because they want to really help them. This is what I mean by that. When we are helping a child to work on their entire leadership as a model, then you have to look at each and every aspect, be it physical, education, mental, spiritual, social. All these are very important, because leader cannot say I'm just good in this one activity, because to become a leader one has to be really having all the characteristics which encompasses all. And this is something what I want to share as a summary key actions, that for a good leader, what is required is something called excellent communication skills, the way they communicate, and they will learn this the way you communicate with them. Readiness to take up the challenges, how you as a parent are ready to take up various challenges. Okay, how do you solve the problems, day-to-day capabilities, because these are some of the key characteristics. And if you look at any leader, be it in our country or across the globe, they have this key characteristics which they demonstrate, and that's how they become key successful leaders. And this is one of is the quick thinking. One cannot have eternity time to think. Okay, if there is a problem, how quickly I'm finding the solutions, and how quickly I am fixing that, because that will happen when you have a good experiences, good knowledge about various fields and creativity. This is what is going to make difference. The way you look at out of the box, the way you find out various solutions, and look at the day-to-day activities. Okay, it always begins from the home, that what all different problems that I can solve which are there in my home right now, and then probably I can look at help my friend, help my neighbor, help my other members. And that is how you naturally develop this. Okay, you don't have to go and attend some courses, because courses and everything will be attended by them when they reach certain level in their professional career. But then how do you really nurture this at home level, at as family? So these are something very beautiful nuggets that I wanted to share and give you as an insight, that leadership is the combination of these five key parameters, and how each letter represents various behavioral characteristics which we have to adopt and put it in practice in our day-to-day activities. And with that, I just want to give one tip here, that how do we really nurture this leadership is, remember that children will acquire these intelligences primarily, I would say not everything, primarily from parents. And they do so by observing. This is again, I'm repeating, because the way you respond as a parent to various circumstances, the way you manage your emotions are going to play a big role. Way you are going to become a role model. That is the way they are going to learn this. So remember that knowing does not help in changing all this behavior, but what is going to make difference is how you are consistent you are, and behavior that you want to really bring changing. And once we do that, I think we are indirectly making a lot of difference in the lives of future leaders that we are going to give to the society, in terms of our children and our families, and the way you extend your leadership to various roles that you are playing in your life. And with that, generally, this is what I offer to all my parents who are associated with me. This 9 parenting principles, or I would say secrets, are very important for each and every parent to learn and understand, so that they are practicing all these traits that we have learned in last 45 minutes almost, that it requires lot and lot of deep diving it, and how do we really make it happen, because it's not just important that like if you look at the principle 7, as I said in the beginning also, very important, how do you define limits, how do you define certain consequences, because unless we do that, then it is not going to teach them the wisdom, the responsibility, because we can't be doing everything for the children. They have to also learn, they have to also experience it, because today we are with them, but tomorrow we are not along with them. So it's they who are going to take the decision based on the various experiences that we are going to give them today, so that they can navigate through these life challenging situations confidently and easily. right? So with that, I open this before I go to the closure. Any question, parents, on the subjects that we have raised? There is something is there on the chat box. Okay, kindly increase the size of your presentation. Oh, okay. Yamini, was it not audible? I mean, visible? So any of the slide? Sorry, I saw the message right now. Okay, it's okay now. Fine. Okay, so how do we go about these principles? Let me just resume the share. Okay. Each of this principle has got a lot of activities that we do in my workshop. We take them through a lot of real-time examples. We interact with other parents and then understand that what is it that something we need to be doing, what are certain do's and don'ts, because each child is different, each situation is unique, and each parent has their own way of looking at things. So when we get into these master classes, we get to know a lot of insights about how these things, because right now it may look kind of a statement to you, but if you really understand this and make an that, okay, this is one principle that is really making me difference, and I would like to really, because learn that what does it mean by that our children are responsible for their action. So that means we have to first understand what this meaning is, and to do this I invite you to join the different classes that I offer to all my parents. Okay, there is option one, that where you can choose any one of the parenting secret of your choice, and that, okay, I'm just interested in learning this particular principle, because rest of the principle I'm doing very well and I know I can do it. And it is doable. Yes, we do it in a 1 hour session, but only in the we need to have 5, because that's where the learning takes place, and we also make it more interactive. Okay, the another option is that, okay, no, I wish to learn all the principles because all are looking very important to me. Then you can join, but we don't do it everything together, because it becomes there are a lot of activities are there and it's not possible to do in one class. So I've divided that in the 3 classes of 2 hours each, where I cover each principle separately, and that's going to happen in August. And what I have, option 3, is especially for you all people who have taken efforts, who have shown interest and joined this class, because this is what something is going to make difference. So this is a kind of difference that you have understood what exactly I meant by, and how is it that you want to make this all abbreviation, what we learn vocable, and this is happened through a lot of activities. So with that, I would like to invite, if you have any question, because this is the way we make a lot of interactive sessions, and lot of I think almost if you go on my YouTube channel, many parents have really shared their experiences, that how they have benefited, what are some of the key takeaways, and how it is important, and irrespective of the age. Like, I have a one parent in my group who has already grown up children, I think almost 20 plus. There are also parents who have as young as 1.5 years. So it's up to the any parent that to what extent? Because I remember nobody has given any manual or a booklet to learn these principles, or what are those things. Because even if you go to any organization, if as some of you are working, then there is something called uh, a manual, organization manual is given, that this is how you're working. But here, when we are talking some one of the important role that you are playing, and where you are creating futures, you're creating kind of a legacy, then I believe one needs to have good understanding, and what are some of the ways that we can give one of the best gifts to our children. So with that, I would like you to look at all this way to connect. I keep on regularly doing this kind of informative sessions for all my parents. So you can be part of my community and keep receiving this information, so that you get abreast with what are the certain things are happening, and which is really useful for you as a parent to grow and along with your journey. Because I believe uh, when child is growing, it's not only child is growing, but it's also the parent who is growing along with them. And that's where I took up this entire journey, and uh, became the founder of this academy. So thank you for joining, for connecting, and having this session. The session is open to you. If you have any question, I'll be happy to receive, or any clarification on any of the topic. We are done for the day. Which are some of the characteristics you feel that you have been exhibiting already from all the abbreviation that we have displayed here? And if you have something different, I would love to hear you that yes, this is something in addition that we also practice to nurture these characteristics of leadership. It will be interesting to learn and understand from you, because I believe that each parent has their own way of learning and contributing to the journey, because all the experiences are different and the way they look at it. And I think one of the quote that I want to share here is that raising a child is not an individual, but it is a community. Because if you go back to our 70s and earlier decades, there used to be joint families, and there used to be all people around, and children used to naturally pick up a lot of traits from all the family members, be it head of the house, or be it various cousins, or could it be various other relatives, because each one has their role to play, and the way they imbibe those characteristics are very important, how you nurture that. But being in today's time, where there is a nuclear family, where there are only parents around, then it becomes a little challenging for your children to look at and imbibe all those characteristics together. And that's how we recommend to be part of certain networks, groups, activities, where naturally they can pick up all these characteristics and give them experiences, so that it is natural for them to learn all this. Because as parents, what is more important is to give them experiences, and what they pick up is every child, it's a unique way, and they are going to exhibit sooner or later the way they understand, as per their intelligence, as per their wisdom that they pick up. So with that, I would like to close the session. Thank you very much for joining this, and have a happy, fun-filled parenting journey. Thank you very much.